Very good morning, children. Today we are going to do the chapter Two Stories About Flying. Now, in this chapter, you have two stories. One is his first flight, and the other is Black Aeroplane. Today we are going to do his first flight. Now, children, his first flight. So, we are going to learn about the first flight of this his. Who is this his? This his is none other than a young seagull who lived with his parents and his siblings, his brothers and sister. All of them had learned the art of flying, but he could not fly because he did not have confidence to fly. But in the story, we are going to see how the parents helped him to take his first flight. Towards the end of the story, you will realize the role of a parent in pushing you forward to help you to attain your goal. So, this is a story about good parenting and also about telling everyone that you have the capacity, the capability to do things. But if you don't have confidence in you, you find difficult to achieve your goal. Now, in the story, his first flight, let us see how the young seagull tries to learn the art of flying. The young seagull was alone on his ledge. What is a ledge? It is a narrow shelf which projects from the wall of a cliff. The young seagull was alone on his ledge. His two brothers and his sister had already flown away the day before. He had been afraid to fly with them. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. Now, children, in these few sentences, you notice one grammatical structure, one structure of grammar. I will identify it for you, and you are going to underline in your textbook the rest of the lines which contains this structure. Look at this. The young seagull was alone on his ledge. His two brothers and his sister had already flown. Now, the structure is had plus past participle. Fly, flew, flown. Third form of the verb. Had flown away the day before. He had been afraid to fly with them. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. So, I have identified the lines for you, and it is for you to identify other similar structures in the lines that follow. What is this structure? Had plus past participle. Had plus past participle shows the distant past. If you are given two pasts simultaneously, if you have had plus past participle structure in one of them, it means that that action takes before the action done in the past. It is more distant past than the simple past. So let's continue. What happens now? The the young seagull was alone on his ledge. Why was he alone? He was alone on the ledge because his siblings had already flown, had already learned the art of flying, and they were flying over the sea. He had attempted to fly, but he cannot fly because he was too afraid. The great expanse of sea stretched down beneath, and it was such a long way down. He was looking down, and it was a long way down. He was scared, miles down. He felt certain that his wings would never support him. He did not have confidence in his wings. He thought that his wings are too small to support him. So he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept at night. So now he is not going to fly. He is running back to the place, to the hole where he used to sleep at night. Even when each of his brothers and his little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his own, ran to the brink, flapped their wings, and flew away, he failed to muster up courage to take that plunge which appeared to him so desperate. His father and mother had come around, calling to him shrilly, upbraiding him, threatening him to let him starve on his ledge unless he flew away. But for the life of him, he could not move. Now, the little gull is too scared to fly. His brothers and sisters had far more shorter wings than him, but still they were able to fly. So it needs something in a person to be able to do something. Though the siblings had smaller wings, they were able to fly because they had the courage to fly. They could pluck up the courage and fly. So that is what is required of our young seagull also. So now, because he is afraid to pluck the courage and fly with his siblings, the parents were angry with him. They scolded him, upbraiding him. They scolded him, and he was even threatened that he would not be given anything to eat unless and until he flew. But for the life of him, he could not move. But he felt that no, he will not be able to fly at all. That was 24 years ago. That was 24 years ago. The scolding he got from his parents and the threat that he would be allowed to starve and die. That was 24 hours ago. Since then, nobody had come near him. Everybody was doing his own business. Nobody came near him. The day before, all day long, he had watched his parents flying about with his brothers and sister, perfecting them in the art of flight, teaching them how to skim the waves and how to dive for fish. So they were all busy with their own business. The siblings were flying, and the parents were helping them to perfect the art of flying. And they taught different lessons like skimming the waves and diving for fish. So these are different chapters in the art of flying. He had in fact seen his older brother catch his first herring and devour it, standing on a rock. So he saw his elder brother. Catching first. It was a prize. It was a very important moment. He was catching his first herring by himself, and he was devouring it, eating it. He was enjoying it. He had in fact seen his older brother catch his first herring and devour it, standing on a rock, while his parents circled around, raising a proud cackle. So when the elder brother caught his first herring and devoured it, he was, given a big, applause by the parents. The parents were giving a proud cackle. And all the morning, the whole family had walked about on the big plateau midway down the opposite cliff, taunting him with his cowardice. So, in the opposite cliff, there was a plateau, a small tableland, and he, they were scolding him, taunting him, making fun of him. They were making him angry, arousing him so that he also would start flying. The sun was now ascending the sky, blazing on his ledge that faced the south. He felt the heat because he had not eaten since the previous nightfall. The sun was now ascending. The sun was ascending, it was rising. And he felt the heat because he was hungry, he had not eaten the previous night, and he was tired. So when you are weak, you feel the heat all the more. You feel the heat of the sun all the more. So he felt the heat of the sun because he had not eaten since the previous nightfall. He stepped slowly out to the brink of the ledge, standing on one leg with the other leg hidden under his wing. He closed one eye, then the other. He stepped out of the brink of the ledge, and he was standing on one leg. You can well imagine how he's standing with one leg. And where is the other leg? It was hidden under the wing. And he closed one eye and then the other, and pretended to be falling asleep. He pretended to be falling asleep. Whereas on the other hand, what was he doing? He was watching the siblings playing with the parents. Still, they took no notice of him. Who is they here? The entire family. He was trying to draw the attention of the parents and the siblings by coming out and sleeping. Actually, he was not sleeping. He was watching them. And what did he notice? He noticed that nobody took any attention. He saw his two brothers and his little sister lying on the plateau, dozing with their heads sunk into their necks. So they were enjoying on the other side of the water. Okay, he was on the ledge and they were on the opposite plateau, on the cliff. His father was preening the feathers of his back. So whatever they were doing, he saw them. He saw his two brothers and his sister lying on the plateau, dozing with their heads sunk into their necks, and his father was preening the feather on his white back. Only his mother was looking at him. So only character was the mother. Others were not taking any interest in him. They were not even looking at him. But the mother was concerned. Only the mother was looking at him. This is like any mother, no? Mothers are very caring, very loving. She was standing on a little high hump on the plateau while her breast thrust forward. So she was standing a little higher and was watching him. Now and again, she tore a piece of fish that lay at her feet and then scraped each side of her beak on the rock. The sight of the food maddened him. How he loved to tear the food that way, scraping his beak now and again to wet it. So the mother was showing the food, and the sight of the food maddened him because he had been starving. Mother was showing him the food, and he was mad at the sight of the food because he loved to tear the food and wet his beak the way the mother is doing. So the mother is kind of telling him that if he doesn't come and eat, he will not be able to eat it. So in order to get the food, he has to come. He has to pluck the courage and have his food. So this is a very interesting story, and we are going to do only up to here. Second part of the story we are going to do in the next class. And please read the story, okay, and find out the structural item that I had pointed out. Had plus past participle. There are many such structures in the lines. There are just a minimum 7 to 8 you can find out, okay, and we're going to do these grammatical structures in another class. So please read it, and please be prepared for comprehension questions. Thank you. Good day.